Greetings and welcome to Jefficho Films on this romantic holiday. In my favorite genre, sword movies, this 1983 film was terrifically composed by David A. Hughes. I often still find myself listening to the soundtrack. But let's be honest, you're never going to see this movie, so I might as well tell you everything this little Italian film has to offer. So let's review Hearts and Armour. This movie starts out with Bradamante, which is a terrific name to hear shouted. She's in a cave with a witch having her destiny read to her. She will fall in love with an enemy, Prince Ruggiero of the Moors. The Moors is what the European Christians call their Arab enemies, so this movie is already showing signs of historical relevance. Naturally, Bradamante is freaked and leaves the cave with no transition, a constant occurrence in this film. She rides to this beautiful Waterfall River location where she's attacked by the Waterfall Rape Gang. This uncoordinated group of hobbit-sized men fight more with themselves than their intended victim. Bradamante is saved by a horse-riding knight who cuts off a scalp, a hand, and a leg to scare them off. The knight tells her that she left her comfort and wealth behind her, but if she wears his armor and uses his sword, that no man can harm her. But there's no one inside the armor. Next, we introduce one of our top men, a knight named Rolando, and when he's not trading his services helping out villagers for bread, he's watching his men battle to determine who's the best. Spoiler alert, it's Rolando. Maybe a day later at best, we have Princess Angelica being escorted by her two Saracen guards to this beautiful waterfall location, where our four-member Waterfall Rape Gang has quickly healed their injuries and put armor and weapons in the place of their missing limbs. Our heroine rides in and scares them off before Angelica could be defiled. Some might question the casting of Tanya Roberts as the Moor princess, but in the 80s they really just casted who they wanted, which is evident throughout the film. In our Saracen camp with Arab-inspired music and outfits and all white men, our prince has a female warrior friend named Marfisa, and she doesn't want him to go, but he must find his sister. Bradamante and her prisoner, the princess, run into a bunch of Christian knights. One of them decides to have a pissing contest with her and loses. The men laugh when she reveals that she's a woman, but then they travel together to take the princess to their king. Ruggiero, out looking for his sister, ends up helping out a hobbit-sized sorcerer who can turn invisible right before his men are attacked by some Christian knights. His men don't fare too well. Ruggiero battles with his clearly Arab-style sword, and after Bradamante saves his life, he's taken prisoner because he's outnumbered. Orlando is too busy making sex eyes through the fire at Angelica to challenge Ruggiero to a fight. And Bradamante really wants to fight him to prove herself, but she loses her cool.
Do I have to challenge the rest of you to earn the right? Then I will. Ganelon, I challenge you. And you, Rinaldo.
Orlando looks like a buff Luke Skywalker, which is enough for most ladies, but I'm not sure how their king would feel about this. Bradamante tries to help Ruggiero and Angelica escape, but he's confused why, and so are we. It's like she wants to fight her destiny, but can't. Doesn't take long for Galen to try and stop them. Ruggiero upright disappears. Then Angelica escapes by killing one of the knights in this really cool shot scene. There's definitely some tension between Orlando and his fellow knights, but his friend Rinaldo stands up for him. And Orlando may have a lot of muscles, but he does have a heart of gold.
What's wrong with you? You almost killed him. Why such anger?
He attacked Angelica.
Don't kill one of your own men just to defend an enemy.
How does a man's heart know the enemy? I'm not made of iron.
We learned Atlante the sorcerers who saved Ruggiero, and I really enjoyed the exchanges between the two. We also know it's destined for him to die at the hands of Orlando, so that's why Atlante feels he must keep Ruggiero and Bradamante apart. He's 1406 years old. I think he knows a thing or two about love. Marfisa tries to reason with the king to go find Ruggiero, but he has other plans.
What are you waiting for?
My beloved weapons. My shameless mercenaries. They love death.
Finally, we meet Ferraù, a Moor knight who's cutting up a cactus and eating it. He's mad, lost, and he finds Angelica. He can overact with the best of them, and he promises that no harm will come to her. And then about 30 seconds later, watching her sleep, he goes all rapey.
I'll have you beheaded for this!
Yes! Behead me! Boil me in oil! Skin me alive!
cut me to pieces, anything, so long as it's afterwards.
Orlando comes riding into the rescue, and might I add, Ferraù is playing an Arab. They have a decent fight scene where you really fall in love with Ferraù's character. He has no loyalties, no honor, and he ends up stealing Orlando's horse before flipping him off and riding away. All historically accurate.
Christian! Farewell! I'll get you more! La!
Bradamante runs into the sorcerer and forces him to take her to Ruggiero. They have a steamy love scene inside a cave with a lot of leaves and trees and giant trees. It's really big. The cave. And I say steamy love scene, but really they spend a lot of the time just trying to get the hair out of their faces. Still, it's love. Rinaldo, who's searching for his friend, follows the screams of a topless Orlando who's attacking trees because of his hatred for the forest. A bunch of more knights attack, and before Rinaldo can even get off his horse, Orlando has killed all 6 of them with his pent-up frustration, and then he tells his friend that they're gonna go find Angelica together. Angelica rides up to a half-built, unfinished church and goes straight to the water fountain and splashes water on her cleavage. 'Cause breasts get thirsty too, I guess. A noble-sounding priest lets her take rest there because she has a nice smile. And then he puts a crystal in his mouth, turns invisible, and tries to rape her. Why are all the men in this movie rapists? After kicking him in the balls, causing him to spit out the crystal, she puts it in her mouth, turns invisible, and runs off. Ronaldo shows up not too long after and is forced to fight the more mercenaries. He gets gravely wounded, but before he dies, he manages to kill one. Rather convincingly. Marfisa finds Ruggiero naked in the leaves with Bradamante, and the two of them leave. Not cool, bro. And Orlando finds Rinaldo in much worse condition. Then he heads home, passing bodies all over the place, and that village, mainly consisting of one house, is on fire. He talks to his useless king and says no armies, just our 4 men against their 4 men, because no one has better 4 men than them. No real stakes at all, though. Ferraù apologizes to the princess after he's been selected for the battle, and she forgives him in his overacted apology, and maybe we should too.
What I did to you was terrible. Your beauty drove me to it. Forgive me. Make me whole again. A man. Worthy to be a warrior.
I forgive you, Ferraù.
Oh.
The Asian war mercenary swings his sword around terribly, and everyone is getting ready for battle. Marfisa has tea with Ruggiero, and you can really tell that she cares for him and doesn't want him to go. Everyone rides off to the forest and splits up, and a few actually good choreographed fight scenes do occur. Galeon takes on the Asian mercenary, and they both take each other out. Ferraù has bird armor and makes bird sounds, but he's not duck and we've come to expect that. His battle with Orlando is actually really good, but I think the armor tires him out and you can really see it in that. Orlando lets him live so Ferraù can go fight another day, I guess. Ruggiero rides past Bradamante and battles Orlando, but as was destined, Orlando gets the killing blow. Bradamante sees this and is upset and runs off and cries. Orlando takes Ruggiero's helmet off and reveals Marfisa. She admits that she drugged his tea. Ruggiero, now awake and upset, shows up and wants to fight Orlando, but he reasons with him.
And live dishonored.
Honor. This is honor. And that's honor. If you want your honor. Kill me then.
Ah!
Bradamante and Ruggiero find each other, and she seems pretty upset, but you can tell she's happy. They burn Marfisa's body after wrapping her up and putting her in a boat. I'm pretty sure that's not how the Saracens did it, but it looks cool. Then Orlando takes off his armor and the 4 of them ride off, away from their obligations and duty, putting their differences aside and following their hearts. This movie is full of great locations and some decent cinematography, and the 2 most notable names are Tanya Roberts as Angelica. She was in A View to the Kill and Beastmaster. You might know her from that 70s show as Donna's mom. And the lovely Barbara Di Rossi, who played Bradamante. She's an Italian actress and a strong female lead in this. This movie is based on an Italian poem called Orlando Furiosa. It's about war, love, and the romantic ideal of chivalry. It's a low-budget movie with unfinished sets, tents for kingdoms, and a simple story, but they craft it well enough, along with fantastic costumes, to be an entertaining movie. I'd love to see a remake with a larger budget that really fleshes out the character and story, but I would lose all its charm, and that's a shame because I really don't like seeing movies like this forgotten. Well, as always, thanks for watching.
I wouldn't have beaten you.
Yes, you would have. It was my destiny.
Then why are you still alive? You can't trick destiny.